used to be an emergency call taker. It was never supposed to be personal work. You were trained to disconnect, to become a voice of calm amid chaos. Every shift was a rotation through human misery. Accidents, overdoses, domestic violence, heart attacks. You learned to compartmentalize, to separate yourself from the sound of panic, the sobs, the screams. But there was one call I could never separate myself from, one voice that still echoes in my head every time I hear the sea. It was a quiet night. The kind of night where the clock seems to drag and you start memorizing the sound of your own breathing. I'd been on the job for almost 4 years by then, hardened by repetition. We had a couple of drunks, a car accident that resolved quickly, and one noise complaint that ended in laughter. It was 2:37 a.m. when the phone rang again. I answered with the usual script, calm, automatic, efficient. 911, what's your emergency? For a moment, there was only static. Then a voice, faint, trembling, older. Hello, she said softly. I don't know if this is an emergency. Her tone made me sit up straighter. I could hear wind in the background, the kind that carries salt and sea spray. That's okay, I said. Where are you calling from? A payphone, she said, down by the beach. I typed that in automatically. Can you tell me which beach, ma'am? There was a pause, then a long, weary sigh. It doesn't matter, she murmured. I just needed to tell someone before I go. That sentence, before I go, pierced through the routine of my night. Ma'am, I said carefully, are you in danger? Are you planning to hurt yourself? She chuckled quietly, but it wasn't joy. It was the hollow sound of someone who'd already let go. No, she said. No, dear, I've been dying for a long time. My body's just catching up. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Every instinct told me this was serious. Can you tell me your name? She hesitated. My name doesn't matter. It's what I did that does. There was something in her voice, not fear, not guilt, but resignation. A deep, heavy kind of sorrow that feels like the tide slowly pulling away. What did you do? I asked quietly. The wind on the line grew louder, the sound of distant waves rolling against the shore. Then she said it, almost too softly to hear. In 1987, I smothered my baby girl. My heart stopped. I thought I'd misheard her, but she kept talking, her words falling like stones into deep water. She wouldn't stop crying. I hadn't slept in days. My husband worked nights, and I was so tired I thought I was losing my mind. I didn't know what postpartum depression was back then. I just thought I was broken. My throat tightened. Ma'am, you said this happened in 1987. Yes, she said, the word dragging out like a confession from the depths. She was only 3 months old. I remember the color of her blanket, pink. She looked so peaceful when she stopped crying. I told myself she was just asleep. I felt a coldness seep into my chest. Did anyone ever find out what happened? No, she whispered. The doctors said it was SIDS. I let them believe it. My husband died 10 years later, never knowing, and I've carried this for almost 40 years. It's heavy, you know, so heavy. I thought I could live with it, but it's eaten me from the inside out. The line was quiet except for the wind and the distant crash of the sea. I could hear her breathing, shallow, fragile, like the sound of something fading away. Where are you right now? I asked again, more urgently. Can you tell me exactly where you are? I just want to make sure you're safe. She sighed again. I told you, dear. I'm by the water. It's beautiful tonight. The moon's out. The waves sound like lullabies. I looked at the clock. 2:42 a.m. I signaled to my supervisor and mouthed, Trace. He nodded and began working on it. I kept her talking. I want to help you, ma'am. You did the right thing by calling. I didn't do anything right, she said. Her voice broke for the first time. I took something pure and innocent and silenced it. There's no forgiveness for that. You were sick, I said softly. You didn't have the help you needed. People understand that now. She let out a trembling laugh. Maybe people do, but God doesn't, and neither do I. Something inside me cracked. I could feel tears welling up. You deserve peace, I said. If you stay on the line, I can send someone to talk with you, someone who can help you find that peace. She went quiet. For a long moment, I thought she'd hung up. Then I heard it, her voice, distant and almost childlike. Do you believe in forgiveness? I swallowed hard. I do. I used to, she said, before I killed my baby. My supervisor gave me a thumbs up. They had a location. The call traced to a payphone near Crescent Beach. I typed out a dispatch and sent a patrol car immediately. I could hear the officers confirming over the radio, engines roaring to life. "Ma'am," I said, my voice trembling, "officers are coming to you now, okay? Just stay on the line with me." But the wind grew louder. The static swallowed her voice. I heard her murmur something, a name, maybe her daughter's, and then the line went dead. I called out for her again and again. "Ma'am, hello, can you hear me?" Nothing, just the hollow hum of silence. When the officers arrived, they found the payphone still swinging slightly, the receiver dangling by its cord. The sea breeze was cold, the sand untouched except for faint footprints leading toward the water. There were no fingerprints on the phone. No purse, no shoes, no trace of her. She was gone. The official report said caller not located. But to me, it felt like something else, like she'd been waiting all her life to tell someone, and once she did, her spirit finally let go. I couldn't sleep for weeks after that. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her standing by the shore, the wind whipping through her gray hair, her eyes fixed on the horizon. I imagined her dropping the phone, walking slowly into the sea until the waves swallowed her whole. I wondered if she smiled when the water reached her chest, if she felt her daughter's presence waiting for her on the other side. I didn't tell anyone how much it affected me. On paper, it was just another unresolved call, but I couldn't shake the weight of her words, the way she said pink blanket, the way her voice cracked when she said her daughter's name. It wasn't just guilt I heard that night, it was love twisted by despair. Years passed. I left the job eventually. Too many ghosts, too many voices that stayed long after the call ended. But every once in a while, I find myself driving near that beach. I'll stop the car and listen to the wind, half expecting to hear the payphone ringing somewhere in the dark. And sometimes, when the tide is low and the moonlight hits the water just right, I imagine seeing her out there, walking slowly along the edge, her hand outstretched, holding the hand of a little girl wrapped in a pink blanket. That's the thing they never tell you about this job. You think you're just answering phones, but sometimes you become the last witness to someone's confession, the last person to hear their voice before they vanish into the dark. And if you listen closely, if you let it seep into you, you never really hang up. Not completely.